have you ever thought of a career in narrating? Because you've certainly got the chops for it. And I'm like, I don't know if that's a compliment or not. You've got the chops for it. You've got a great face for audio narration, I think is what they're saying.
Hey everybody, it's John Lamerton here alongside my good friend and business partner, Mr. Jason Brockman. We are here for another episode of the Ambitious Lifestyle Business Podcast, where as always, it is our job to help you get more customers and make more money without just working harder. So without further ado, let's dive straight into this month's episode.
Hey everybody, welcome to today's episode of the Ambitious Lifestyle Business Podcast. Usually we have a guest on here. Today I have a special guest. It's no other than Mr. John Lamerton, best-selling author, as you will have read some of his books already. We're going to talk a little bit about your fifth book now, Retention First, which has just hit the shelves of the bookshops.
Yes, virtual bookshelves anywhere are available in all good bookshops as long as they're called either Amazon or Audible.
Amazon or Audible. Oh, that is a great start, to be fair, because Audible's out already, which is great, because usually there's a bit of a lag between the print copy coming out and Audible. So Audible's there ready for you.
It is, absolutely. You can listen to my dulcet West Country tones narrating the book, including, I think I've done a Mrs. Doyle impression from Father Ted in this book.
Is it better than some of your other impressions in the previous books?
No. I've done Al Pacino from The Godfather, just when they thought I was out. They'd pull me back in. But I think my high watermark is always going to be Mr. Bull from Peppa Pig. It will take as long as it will take. There we go. Look, that's the limit of my skills, I'm afraid, when it comes to narrating. Although I was offered a job after doing the narrating. This is the guy who had to audition for his first book. Go up to the recording studio for book number 5. And then literally emailed me the week after and said, have you ever thought of a career in narrating? Because you've certainly got the chops for it. And I'm like, I don't know if that's a compliment or not. You've got the chops for it. You've got a great face for audio narration, I think is what they're saying.
That's interesting, actually, your Mr. Bull impression there, which was that again? Do it again.
That was Routine Machine. Mr. Bull, it will take as long as it will take. Digging up the road.
That's your anthem for this book, isn't it? Because actually it was due to come out some time ago, but actually you weren't quite pleased with it. And actually you wanted to do the best piece that you could do. And it has taken as long as it's taken to get that release out. Yeah,
definitely. The original plan was summer 2025, purely because I've got a nice little pattern growing, whereby Big Ideas was 2017, Routine Machine 2019, Evergreen Assets 21, False Exit 23. So odd years. Therefore, False Exit 23, Retention First 25. No. Retention First has broken the pattern and it's 2026. But I mean, literally, this has been 2 years of my life devoted to this project. And about a year ago, I finished the first draft. I thought, right, I'm happy with this first draft. Let's send it over to beta readers. They're going to give me some feedback. Another 3 to 6 months implementing the feedback, doing some edits, bit of formatting, get the marketing machine ready. Off we go. Summer 25. We are on target. And the feedback I got from beta readers was, this is terrible. This is confusing. You've lost me in chapter 1. There's loads of maths that I've got to do. You've made it really complicated. I don't get this at all. And it was very much, in fact, for those watching on the video, I have a pad of paper here. And this is the actual beta reader feedback that I had. And they were saying this is, by the way, just the big stuff. Okay? I had a Google Doc with hundreds and hundreds of changes in it. This is just the big stuff. Pages and pages of this really doesn't work and this needs to change. So what I really love is I've spent a year basically editing this book. And if you listen to our Christmas podcast about why I didn't enjoy 2025 very much, predominantly because I spent the year editing and I don't enjoy editing. But as you will learn on our forthcoming podcast with Jill French, a book editor who's one of our 1%ers, the best books in the world are not well written, they're well rewritten. And the feedback I've had now, because I've put some early advanced copies of the finished article back out to beta readers, is this is night and day from the beta version. This is good. This is really good. You've nailed all those pain points. It flows. It's great to read. It's got the takeaways that you need. It's a lot better. And that did require that Mr. Bull mindset. And I did have Mr. Bull ringing around my head from about April last year, just going, all right, it will take as long as it takes. Sorry, it will take as long as it will take. And it was, right, pressure's off. There is no, this is when it's coming out. It's coming out when I am happy that I can release this book and let it go. And I am happy with the work.
Awesome. So thinking about our light bulb moment that's happened there, what was the episode, or what was the part of our story that made you think that retention was the key to some better success in the businesses?
It's funny, because all of my books have come from what's been rattling around my brain for the previous couple of years. If you look at, the book tour for Big Ideas for Small Businesses, went on a podcast and someone says, oh, routine's really important to you. And suddenly that's rattling around my brain. Oh, routine. I never thought or realized how important routine was. Write a book about routine. We're then all locked down in our homes 6 months after that book comes out. And I start talking to 1%ers about, look, it's really important. You physically can't trade at this time. What you can do is create these evergreen marketing assets. And I just kept saying this word, evergreen. If you look at Big Ideas, evergreen marketing assets, I mention it in that book. It's a bit like the Marvel universe, where they tease a film that's coming 2 years in the future in an existing one. And so that was there. And then the Forest exit, we'd exited, I think we're nearly 10 years ago since we exited the day-to-day running of our business. But we started talking to more of our 1%ers about what does retirement look for you. So retention, it's been on my radar for a long time. And there's a few elements, and it's frustration. I think most desire to change from business or indeed personal life comes from frustration. It comes from pain. And the most painful thing I can remember is probably in the sports betting business, but a little bit in the 1% club as well. And I've always seen myself as the marketer. I am Mr. Marketing. I'll go out and get customers. Brilliant. Getting customers is easy. That's one of the first lines I start with in this book, is if you give me like a sandwich board and a megaphone, I will give you all the customers you need, because I will just go and make a load of promises. And I'll just say, hey, this is the best thing since sliced bread. Come on in. Here's an offer. Here's a deadline. Put some psychology behind it. Brilliant. We'll get customers. For me, getting customers is easier, but it felt, particularly in the sports betting business, I think, that I felt like I was filling a bucket full of customers, and I was handing that bucket over to this faceless customer support team or the retention team, someone else, not me. And then I'd sort of get off the hamster wheel of marketing and customer generation, take a breather, and then suddenly there's a knock on the door. It's like, oh, who's that? Oh, it's the customer service team. Hello, what can I do for you? Oh, there's your empty bucket back, John. Empty? Why is it empty? Oh, we lost all the customers. Can you get some real ones, please? Like, why didn't you keep the ones I gave you? Why have I got to go and create more? So, right, give me the bucket. And if you can picture this bucket, it is covered in holes. There's more hole than bucket. But off I go. And do I put any duct tape on the hose? No. Do I get a new bucket? No, I don't. Instead, I turn the taps up more. And I go, right, we need more water. Right, there you go. Right, try not to lose these. Hand it over. A week later, rinse and repeat. And at the time that this was really causing me frustration, we were working with a couple of coaches. And I said to one of my coaches at the time, right, you're always banging on. Like, your thing is getting and keeping customers. There is no more important task in the world than getting and keeping customers. And everything we've done has focused on getting customers. Can we do some work on the keeping customers half of that equation. His reply was like, nah, don't worry about that. We'll just do another Facebook ad. We'll just launch another campaign. We'll send another email. We'll just get some more customers. His answer was the natural point of me. Turn the taps up. Just turn the taps up. And it just niggled at me. It's like, if we kept more of these customers, I wouldn't have to work as hard. I wouldn't have to keep turning the taps up. And as Google ads are more expensive than ever now, SEO is more difficult. AI is coming along, taking away all your clicks from your SEO. It's getting more and more difficult and more expensive to get new customers. So it really, I just felt something had to change. And if no one else was going to focus on retention, I just thought, right, this is me. I need to focus on it. So I went and read some books, went and changed some stuff. But most importantly, I think, change that mindset. And this is where that retention first came from, because my attitude was always get customers, fill the bucket, and then hand it over to someone who will try and keep them. And this required a real change in my mindset to actually, we keep the customers we've got first, which enables us to go out and recruit more of the same caliber of customer. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I'll come back to mindset in a minute if that's okay. But I was going to say, for me, I think looking at our journey, and probably now the book is out and actually reading through it, marketing so much more difficult now. Like you say, it's much more expensive stuff like that. But for us in our sports betting business, it's become nigh on impossible. What with government regulations, compliance, and the bookies themselves making it nigh on impossible to do the marketing for new customers. It's become very more important for us to keep our existing sports betting customers there. And actually, having seen that we've done so little marketing over the last few years, but our core customer base has remained the same or thereabouts. It just amplifies for me actually the content of the book, and there's the real practice that we've put in the sports betting business. I would say probably more by accident than by design. You said the opposite, but actually it hasn't been like that, because we actually have serviced them very well, and we do give what we say we're going to do. That they've stayed with us, and they continue to be our members there. So yeah, that was really interesting. I think that was an obsession from me, to be fair. Having read the book, it's like, oh yeah, actually, we're putting those dots together a little bit. It's just like, yeah, it very interesting there, isn't it?
Yeah, it's. I mean, you said accelerated there, and there's a stat that I'm sure everyone's heard already, because I've been banging on about this stat since I heard it, and every promotion of the book, literally, if you pick up the book, big and bold on the top of the blurb on the back, it's a stat that as soon as I came across it, I was like, yes, that is why putting retention first is so important. It's because retention is so highly leveraged. So the stat is this: if you increase retention by as little as 5%, your profits can grow from at least 25% up to as much as 95%. Now, I haven't made up that stat. That isn't some random internet stat. That stat comes from a guy called Frederick Reichheld. Now, Frederick was working at the time for Bain & Company, the famous consulting group, and he did this research amongst kind of, I think it was tens of thousands of transactions across multiple industries back in, I want to say the 80s, maybe early 90s. And you've probably never heard of Fred, but I guarantee you've heard of something else that he came up with. Frederick Reichheld also invented the Net Promoter Score. So if you've ever had an email from someone saying, on a scale of 1 to 10, how likely would you be to recommend us to a friend? You can thank Fred for that. So Fred discovered this. He's been called the godfather of retention until, of course, someone wrote a better book than him called Retention First. And there's a new godfather of retention. But yeah, for a couple of decades at least, the godfather of retention, notice just how highly leveraged and asymmetrical this is. A little tiny improvement in retention, massive increase in profits, because you don't have the acquisition costs. You don't have the onboarding costs. Existing customers spend more. They spend on average 67% more than new customers. They're far more likely, I think about 100% more likely, to try new products, new services than new customers are. And it just compounds upon itself. It really does.
Fabulous. I know you asked the question right at the very beginning, isn't it? How much money would you have if you never lost a customer? You've done that number for us?
I haven't.
That's on the spot. Sorry.
I can't. Is the answer, because you could do it per business, and yeah, certainly we could work that out. And I would suggest, even 1% Club, we've been running that business nearly 10 years. It's in the millions, and it's possibly in the tens of millions. The sports betting business, you're certainly talking tens of millions. You might even be talking 9 figures if we lost any customer. And it's a little bit pie in the sky, because you are going to lose customers. This is not about this is the example I use in the book. And I have changed all the people I slag off in the book. I have changed the names to protect them. So there's this anonymous company, no one will know who they are, called Sly TV. And when I used to have this Sly TV package, they would just force you through this retention script that is designed to prevent anybody from leaving. And I think that might be where I go for the Mrs. Doyle impression, because it's like, you will have a cup of tea. No, you will. Go on. How about just a wee cup? Go on, look, I'm really pouring. And it is that absolute, insistence on you must keep that customer. But that's not what retention is about. It's about just obsessing over and keeping the customers and serving the customers to the best of your ability for as long as you can. So it's really scary, that number.
Fair enough. You introduce a concept in the book which isn't really a new concept. It's called lifetime value, and it's something that which most business owners don't even think about. They're so caught up in the day-to-day, they're so caught up in the here and now, and the having to market to get some new customers in, having to tell the world what they do, that actually the lifetime value is a number which doesn't very often come up in the accountant script or in the business owner's mind, is it?
Yeah, I'd love to take credit for inventing lifetime value. I really would. But I think somebody might have mentioned it a few years before me. Probably Frederick again. No, for me, it's the most important thing. Because it's this is where the mindset shift starts. Story I tell in the book about us, and you may remember this. So remember, we first did like the affiliate marketing business, and we used to have this little widget that sat down the bottom of your tray on the computer, and every time you made a sale, it would go ka-ching, make a little till noise, ka-ching, and it would pop up and say, "Well done, you've sold something." You've earned a commission, you've earned £1.73. And that would go ka-ching, and I'd go, hooray, made some money. And then an hour later it would go ka-ching, you made some more money. And I just, brilliant. But eventually that would go ka-ching, 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 like several times a minute, and I had to turn it off. But just like Pavlov's dogs, I was then conditioned, hooray, we made a sale. And lifetime value, it gets you away from celebrating what I call winning the customer to make a sale. All right. What most people do is they do that. They do exactly that. They win a customer. So, good example. 3 years ago, I had my gutters cleaned. Found them on Google, via a Google ad. So they paid to acquire me. They come out, they do a great job. They charge me 140 quid. Brilliant. As the guy's leaving, bear in mind this is the first time I've had my gutters cleaned in like the 20 years I've lived in this house. Said to the guy, "How often should I have my gutters cleaned?" Now I'm basically presenting him with an open goal here. And he went, "We recommend every 12 months. I went, "Cool." And he looks at me, and I look at him, and then he goes, "Right, See you later then. Jumps in the van, and I have never seen or heard from him since. Now, he paid to acquire me as a customer, but he hasn't acquired me as a customer. He made a sale. He, as far as he's concerned, job done. I might have paid, I don't know, £5 on Google for the click. I've got 140 quid in my pocket. Happy days. But what should my lifetime value with that company be? Because it should be at least £140 year 2, year 3, and now should be the 4th time I should have renewed. So he should already have nearly £500 out of me. On their website, it also claims that they clean windows. I've got windows they could clean. They power wash patios. I've got lots of patio they could clean. I've got some glass balustrade and balconies out there. They could clean that, I don't know, once a quarter, twice a year, whatever. They could have, at that point, wanted me as a customer gone, we could take care of all of this for you. We'll stick you on a direct debit, and we'll just come out and do the work. As and when you want it, we'll come out and do the work. And we'll average it out over the year so you don't have to worry about cash flow. And they could have really served me. They could have obsessed over me and my needs. And now, 3 years later, how much more money could have been in their bank account if they had focused on winning a customer as opposed to making a sale? Guarantee I could have spent at least £1,000 with them, at least 10 times what I actually have paid them, because they're not monitoring lifetime value. If they are, they're looking at it and it's 1 year. That's it, one job. And this is a company that did a great job, that I was really happy with their work, that I would love to have back in. But now, I can't remember who they are. Literally, I cannot remember the name. They've not marketed to me at all. They're getting and keeping customers, getting customers. That's all they're focused on. Just do Google ads. I'll probably find them again, but they'll pay another £5 for another Google ad click for me, or probably £7 now, to acquire the same customer. When I am their customer now, and that's the mindset shift.
It's when they've already done the hard work, isn't it? They've done all the hard work and got you the first time round. It's
really felt that open goal. It was like, come on, guys, you've done so. The Google My Business profile was brilliant. It's a red Evergreen assets. Like, you're doing all of this brilliantly, and then you're just ignoring existing customers. And this is what people do. They get a customer, and then they've got that customer, and they're looking over that customer's shoulder for the new one. It's like, no, obsess over this one. This person wants to be served, and you're not serving them to the best of their ability. I keep saying this word obsessing, and it comes from Jeff Bezos, Amazon. I must mention him about 30 times in this book. He said in his 1997 shareholder letter, we will obsess over customers. He's repeated that line, we will obsess over customers, every year since 1997. And I did run the numbers on this, how much money I have spent with Amazon. My first purchase was in 2001. It was a copy of Championship Manager 2. Took Plymouth Argyle to the FA Cup final. I think I even won the Champions League in my 3rd or 4th year as Argyle manager. That's not the point. The point is I spent £7.13 on a PC game from a company that sold books and DVDs and games. 25 years later, I have spent £70,000 with that company because Jeff Bezos has obsessed over me as a customer. How much do you think Jeff would have been willing to pay to acquire a customer who spends £70,000 on? Do you think he'd just say, well, I don't care how much money I make on that £7 game. We're only making 43p. Many businesses would go, that's not worth a while. I'm not getting out of bed for 43p. Jeff wasn't looking at the 43p he made from that first purchase. He's looking at the, I don't know, probably £30,000, £40,000 that he's made over the procedure. In fact, and ongoing, because I'm still spending. Literally, there will be an Amazon delivery coming to my house today, I can guarantee it. And probably tomorrow and several next week. Because he genuinely does obsess over customers. I'm a bit evangelical in the book about Amazon. For that exact reason, they just are obsessed over customers. Everything they do, and I noticed new stuff, it's just like, ooh, That's designed to just make things a little bit easier, a little bit smoother, a little bit more enjoyable for the customer. And it's all for the customer.
So in the book, you've got one of your leading case studies in there is one of our 1%ers, actually, Ian Bluck, with Cohome. Do you want to kind of explain how he made it into the cut of the book?
Yeah, so there's a line I used in the book, which I know when I put it out to beta readers, they went, "Oh, that really like slapped you around the face with a £10 fish." And the line was that your customers should want you to be making an absolute fortune. And it sounds really counterintuitive because you think, no, they don't. Our customers want the product, the service we do as cheaply as possible. It's like, well, they don't want you to rip them off, but they do want you to be there for them and still be there for them when they need. So that gutter company, if I want them to be around in 12 months' time to clean my gutters, they've got to be profitable. They've got to be making money. And your customers want you to be there for them. And when you are there for them, they want you to be able to obsess over them and to be able to serve them in the best way possible. And it is genuinely about being able to serve people to the best of your ability. Now, margin, profit, enables you to do that. Now, Ian made the cut because, and I mentioned the 5% increase in profit, in retention, 95% increase in profits. Ian's example, Ian's case study really exemplifies that because, again, it's so highly leveraged. Now, Ian, his prices are about 15% higher than the average market. So Ian runs a HMO, house of multiple occupancy business, and his prices are about 15% higher than the industry norm. But crucially, that 15% doesn't just go into Ian's pocket. Instead, he invests that extra money. He basically gives that extra margin back to the client, back to the customer, back to, as he calls them, the housemates. So again, very much a mindset shift. Most HMO landlords have tenants. They have a landlord-tenant relationship. Ian refers to his customers, his clients, as housemates. We're sharing our house with them. They're sharing their house with us. We are sharing the house. So there is a partnership here. Yes, we're going to make sure that the furnishings are high end. Lots of people do that. It's a high end HMO. But the stuff that Ian has done, so he onboards and vets people so, I don't want to, stringently, so comprehensively to make sure that they're a good fit. So existing housemates have the right to veto any new housemate because retention first. We look after the housemates we've already got before getting new ones. Ian grandfathers the prices. This is something we do within the 1% Club. It's something that Ian's done. So basically he said, look, I don't put the rents up, which is completely against what most evil landlords do if you read the financial press. What that leads to is loyalty. It leads to housemates who've been in place for 2 years, 3 years going, I know I'm paying less than the new guy. That's my reward for being loyal. My rents don't go up. So when they read articles about greedy landlords putting the rent up, like, my landlord doesn't. My landlord looks after me. Being able to actually invest in when things go wrong. So when there's a leaky tap or something's going wrong, Ian can just send out an emergency plumber on a Sunday night because he's got the margin to do so. That landlord who is on a thin margin is going, I'm not calling out an emergency plumber on a Sunday night. I'll go myself tomorrow. They can wait. I'll fix it cheaply. I'll get something from Screwfix and I'll do a bodge job and it'll be good enough and I'll sort that tomorrow. Ian's just like, no, we'll send out an emergency plumber. And it's that mindset shift and it's that reinvestment of the margin. Ian puts on pizza nights and barbecues and book clubs for his housemates. Literally the household will say, we fancy having a party. He'll put on no parties, Pizzas, no alcohol. Even when his lesson there, he sent a lot of alcohol to a house that didn't go well. But he sends pizzas. He'll put on a barbecue in the summer, designed to gel that house together. And the results that Ian's got doing this stuff, as I said, 15% margin. That's all he's got to play with is 15% extra margin. However, what he's got is 3 times the average lifetime value. The average HMO, I think the average tenant stays 9 months. I haven't got the figures in front of me. I'm pretty sure it's the average one is 9 months. Ian's is 21 months and rising. He's got obviously a little bit of extra margin every month coming in. That plays out that the average lifetime value of the average HMO is just under $5,000, and Ian's is like 14,800. So it's nearly 3 times the lifetime value from 15% margin. And that is the effect that having that extra margin and then investing that margin into putting retention first and genuinely serving and, yes, I'm going to say it again, obsessing over your customers is so highly leveraged. And that is where that 95% increase in profits comes from, a 5% increase in retention. Ian's probably done a 10, 15% increase in retention. And that's why he's trebling the profits compared to the average HMO.
Fabulous. All right, what time are we at? Okay, yeah, I was going to ask you just for 3, but have you got 101 tips that all business owners could put into their... No, let's go. What's your top 3 affordable things, that action points that a small business owner listening now today could do to increase their loyalty within their businesses?
The first thing is keeping in touch, without a doubt. There's a line which I am, again, not going to take any credit for. It's one of my first mentors that first said this. I think he copied it from somewhere else. It is not your customer's job to remember to do business with you. It is your job to remind them. Again, that gutter company, they put all the onus on me as the customer to remember to do business with them again. My second thing is linked to that, which is a BAFTA award, not the British Academy of Film, Television Arts, but book appointment from today's appointment. If that gutter company had done nothing other than say, yeah, we recommend a gutter clean every 12 months, shall I put you in the diary for 12 months' time? If they'd done nothing else but that before walking out that door and leaving me as a customer to fend for myself, they just booked the next appointment. My hairdresser does this, my chiropractor does this, my gardener does this. It's so simple. It's just, right, okay, let the 3 degree song. When will I see you again? Right, you put me on the spot now, but I'm forcing me to only choose one more takeaway that someone could do. Right.
Neither of those cost any money, do they? Keeping in touch.
No, not at all.
Before they leave.
Some text message. Literally, hi, was thinking about you. I think the last one I'm going to say is reserve your best offers for existing customers. I have a big rant in this book about new customers only. Too many firms, and particularly big firms. Again, I protect the innocent here, protect the guilty, I should say. So I have changed the names. But there's this television and broadband company called Emerging Media, and they've fictionally, of course, annoyed me by trying to charge me nearly 3 times as much for my broadband as a brand new customer. And the argument we have with them is just they're just, well, that's for new customers. Like, but these new customers have new loyalty to me. I've spent tens of thousands of pounds with you over the last nearly 2 decades. Yeah, thanks for that. We're rewarding you by charging you more. So just like Ian, grandfather's existing housemates first, they pay less and they get to say, no, this new guy who's paying 30 quid a month, 50 quid a month more than us can't come into our house. That is putting existing customers first. There's a reason I sent out almost 200 copies of Retention First to our existing 1%ers. The impact we've had on 1% Club by Pattern Retention First, it's huge. 5-6 years ago, if we took on 10 members in 1 year, by a year later, by 12 months later, we've lost 7 of them. Now we keep 8 of them. And that, again, it's highly leveraged, but that all comes from putting existing customers first. And it genuinely is a mindset shift. And it's just, notice that you do this. So if you're putting out, because I'm not saying don't go and advertise for new customers, don't give new customers an offer. But what I'm saying is, anytime you craft an offer for new customers, consider how that looks to existing customers. Because when I see an advert for emerging media saying, hey, come and join us, and you'll only pay £25 a month, and I'm thinking, why are you charging me £70 a month? And I see a full page advert, which you've paid for the ad, and you've paid a design agency to come up with it, and then you're giving customers, new customers who have yet to spend a single penny with you, a great deal, while I'm getting shafted. Just consider how that looks to your existing customers, because the big companies don't. And I know why they do it, because they're short-term thinking. They're just trying to hit their next quarterly profit target, and the easiest way to do that is let's get some new customers in. But if you think long-term, and that may be a future book about long-term thinking, but for now it's not, then that highly leverage, looking after existing customers first, is going to make such a difference to you.
And yeah, absolutely. And I mean, that's free. We call them marginal gains. That's free things that you can do to improve. And actually the compound effect of that gives you that 95% profit above whatever you had before. And yeah, absolutely brilliant. Just those 3 tips there altogether. Now, we've done quite a bit of work with that in the 1% Club prior to the book, and then kind of leading up to that. And I think one of the most impactful things that you introduced when people joined us was a video from you to welcome them into the group. The author they've just read, the content of their books, the things they've taken from that book, and then they join our group, and you send them a welcome video spoke specifically to that person. That is just that first step, I think, in that wow moment. Cheap, easy, not hard to do. Takes minutes to do, but yeah, it has that such an impact. And I know when I speak to them on their welcoming calls and that, I got a video from John. It was just amazing. It was like, kind of not quite godlike status. I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that to your ego, but yeah, it's kind of like, I can't believe it. He sent me a video, and yeah, I mean, it's probably a bit more commonplace in some businesses now, but there's so many that aren't. But yeah, that's impactful. Let's just talk about some of the other things that we've done to improve our retention in the 1% Club, just to give a few ideas about what that looks like in our world, really.
Yeah, definitely. And again, this all starts with that mindset shift. Okay, so previously, and I go back probably 5 years, we had a really, really good intake. We took on like 43 members in one intake. Now, that's about double what we normally do. And for a good couple of weeks, I was on a massive high. Like, yay, wow, look at that. Look how great we are, celebrating the sale. Okay, well done us. We've generated 43 new members. We're going to make an absolute fortune out of these new members. Oh, aren't we brilliant? I think 3 months later, half of them are gone. And then we're on a massive downer. Oh, God, again, it's that leaky bucket. I'm there without, where have all the customers gone? And then, for some reason, I only noticed it then. It was like, there's lots of holes in this bucket. Now, the key framework, and you touched on it a little bit there, that we had to put into place with the 1% Club. We already had it, but we had to clearly demonstrate it. And it's a framework that I call the subtle art of genuinely giving a shit about your customers. And you have to have that, because this book is not about tactics. It's not about hacks to keep customers. It's not that Sly TV script. Just say these magic words and customers will stay. You've got to actually give a shit about your customers. I said obsess over them. You have to actually obsess over them. And so the first thing that we needed to do, and that's why I started doing the videos, that's why I started doing the Monday morning motivations, that's why we changed a lot of the messaging, was we are obsessed with you guys. And we are obsessed with your success and what you want out of it. So it almost seems strange to say this now, but if you go back 5 years at the point of that intake, we didn't talk about flamingos. We didn't really touch too much on the ambitious lifestyle business. We just kind of said, oh yeah, we're business growth coaches. We'll help you grow your business. And what we needed to do was recognize what members actually want and why have they joined the 1% Club. Well, they joined the 1% Club because we talk about improving your business 1% at a time. Tiny marginal gains that stack up and compound. And ultimately, if you leave your business 1% better every week, if you do that one thing, your business will be better and your lifestyle will be better. And actually, and we've said this several times recently, haven't we? We're not here for your business. We're here for you. We're here for you, the business owner. And if you need to grow your business, we'll help you grow your business. If you need to shrink your business, we'll help you shrink it. If you need to sack half your clients and replace them with better ones, we'll do that. If you need to shut down 2 of the 3 businesses you're running, we'll help you to do that. But ultimately, what do you want? What do you, the business owner, want out of that lifestyle? And we needed to clearly demonstrate that we care. And those are the 2 words that your customers have to hear loud and clear. I'm actually saying I care. Every action you do needs to demonstrate that. And that's why that word genuinely is in there. You need to genuinely give a shit. I have, again, worked with coaches in the past who I thought gave a shit. And it turns out that the minute the direct debit stopped, that I was dead to them and never, literally haven't spoken to them in 12 years as a result of not paying them anymore because they don't genuinely give a shit. And I think was it Dav who came down to the football once and said, you guys are either really, really good actors or you genuinely do care about us.
It was, yeah. I mean, it's not something you can teach, is it? And that's why the book isn't about tactics and stuff. It's about opening your mind, to changing your mindset to go, actually, there is a different way. And actually, that genuinely obsessing over the customers, absolutely giving a shit about it. I mean, there's a lot of difficulty in the world right now, and just being there for our members, to be able to steer them through it, to help them through it, to just be there as a listening ear. I do some one-to-ones with some of our members, and yeah, very often it's a listening ear about whatever the thing is that's happening in their world right now. But I care, and actually there's something we can do about that. And yeah, it does come as an emotional cost at times, but actually it is because we generally invest ourselves into their world, which is really important.
Yeah, it's it's funny. I talk in the book about blurring the lines between kind of friendship and business, and the more you can do that, the less transactional everything feels. And so you can't teach that. And I think you in particular are very, very good at this. I think you're almost a therapist, a priest, but you look at the conversations that we have within the club, and again, on the surface of it, we are business coaches and we are here to help you improve your business. But we will have discussions around personal debt, relationship advice, parenting advice. We talk about continuous glucose monitors and your favorite biscuits and places to go on holiday, and it's the stuff you talk about with your friends if you genuinely like them. And that, I think, is the key thing. It is that word genuine. And so you cannot hack your way to do this. Keep saying obsess over customers. And that's the only way to be, is to genuinely obsess over why were they coming to you? Why are they there? The stuff we've put into place in the 1% Club. And I mean, you can talk about, for example, sending the cake. Lots of people will send people stuff in the post. And one of the first things we put in place was sending members a cake. It's not always a cake, just right, for any 1% who's listening now, apologies. Every time it's not cake, we get complaints that it's not cake. And every time it's cake, we get complaints that it's cake. Because, oh my God. So you can't please all the people all the time. But we didn't send cake to people as a retention hack. We sent cake to people to celebrate them reaching their 12-month anniversary. Remember that previously we were celebrating winning the sale. So there was 43 people who joined. Hooray, we're great, we're wonderful. 12 months later, there's 7 or 8 of them left. That's nothing to celebrate. Now we're onboarding 2025, and a year later, there's still 18 to 22 of them still with us. That is worth celebrating, and that's what we want to do, is actually celebrate with them. In terms of sending stuff in the post, yes, it's really powerful, but more than that, it's about blurring the lines. The stuff I have sent in the post, I've sent someone a plastic fireman's helmet. That has no tangible value whatsoever, but it absolutely means something to them. I've sent the garage owner who was constantly interrupted a sign that he could put on his office door that just says, "Piss off, I'm busy." That is absolutely personal to him. And it's not about how much money you spend on gifts. You know what your parents told you? It's the thought that counts. It really is. Because that person receives that and thinks, oh my God, they've actually put some thought into it. You know, a few weeks ago, I was chatting with a presenter. He mentioned the Derek Sivers books that we'd sent previously as an anniversary gift. He said, I really, really enjoyed those books. I'm just reading them now. Derek Sivers had put out another book since then. I had a copy here. I thought, literally, got an envelope, wrote a card, thought you might like this, send it in the post to him. No more thought other than that. And he sent me a wonderful review. Oh, I love this. He said, I've been in groups before where it felt like I was just there to fuel the lifestyle of the business owner. He said, you genuinely get it. You really do care about it. And I said, yeah. But that, to me, is just normal. We've put together a bunch of friends, a bunch of people we like, who we do obsess over, and who we want to serve at every opportunity to make their lives better. That is why they're with us, and that is why we love working with them.
Absolutely amazing, isn't it? I guess we should at this point say the doors open to the doors of the 1% Club. We only open them up a couple of times a year, March and September. This is our March podcast, so you'll have probably found that you'd have had, if you've been on any of our lists, you'd have already had the invite to come and join into our group. If you are an ambitious lifestyle business owner and you'd like to make sure you've got some accountability, some help, and to surround yourself with the kind of people that we've just been talking about, absolutely fantastic members, then please do come and join us. Follow any of those links in this email, or just pop along to bigidea.co.uk/1% Club.
Absolutely, yeah. You will, of course, pay more than existing members. Sorry about that. But hey, in a couple of years' time, your prices will be grandfathered and new people will be paying more than you. Again, why do we open the doors twice a year? Because we want to spend 10 months of the year looking after existing customers first. We are putting retention first in our business. We are not going to be that business coach that is just broadcasting and hunting for new business all the time, instead of looking after existing clients. We want to put retention first, so we do that 10 months of the year, 83.33 recurring % of the time. We are closed to new members. You cannot even buy most of the time. And so, we have this little window. If you are interested, as Jay said, have a look at the website, bigidea.co.uk, click on the tab that says coaching, or send us an email, john@bigidea.co.uk, jason@bigidea.co.uk. Any questions? Obviously, many of you are connected on the socials, and we can have a chat there. As always, there will never be any pressure to join, but the 1% Club is a fantastic community of those very, very inspirational people who are leading their business 1% better every week. They have been leading their business 1% better for years, and as a result, they have got those lifestyle changes.
Amazing. That's the end of the advert. And just before we wrap up this episode of the Ambitious Lifestyle Business Podcast, anything I haven't asked you, John, that you really think you should have been asked?
Oh, one thing I'm going to leave you with.
Don't forget something.
Nothing. It is another of the main frameworks, and it is that you cannot outmarket a bad product. With the 1% Club, we put a lot of stuff in place: videos, cakes, emails, onboarding, weekly messages. But we also did a lot of work behind the scenes on the actual product itself, the deliverability. We surveyed members to find out what they liked, what they didn't like. We implemented a lot of those changes. There's a saying in restaurant terms: never serve anything that you wouldn't eat yourself. And that principle really does apply. The only way you can obsess over customers is to also obsess over the product or service that you are delivering to them. So we like Ronseal. Ronseal is the example I use in the book. We all know that Ronseal does what it says on the tin. Now, Ronseal's marketing basically said, our product does what we say it's going to do. That is it. Why does that simple marketing of our product actually does what we claim work? Because all of their rivals' products didn't do what they claimed on the tin. That slogan, that tagline only works because most people don't do what they say on the tin. So please make sure that you are under-promising and over-delivering. Make sure that you be happy to buy your own product at full recommended retail price and never serve anything that you wouldn't eat yourself.
Amazing. Thank you ever so much, our listeners and viewers on YouTube. Nice to see you all. Take care, and see you on the next Ambitious Lifestyle Business Podcast.
See
Thank
you,
John.
Bye-bye.
So there we are, another episode in the can. How was it for you? Please let us know. However you listen to these podcasts, please leave a review on that platform. Let us know what we can do better, what you like, what you don't like, and how we can improve to make this show even better for you. We'll see you next time.